Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis todos y todas? Bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Good morning to everyone. Hello. Just checking the video and the audio. Let me. Okay, I think it's better this way. So, good morning to everyone. Is anyone there? Yeah. Hi, Elsa Green. Nice to see you. Please be welcome today. And let me check only the image and the sound is everything all right. And in the meantime, we could wait for more people to come. Hola, hola, hola a todos, todas, ¿qué tal estáis? Vale, mientras que esperamos un poco que llegue más gente, voy a ir chequeando, voy a ir también comentando un poco esto que también me hace bastante ilusión que comentas, Need More Siesta. Muchas gracias por la felicitación. La verdad es que Alex y yo hemos recibido muy buenas palabras de toda la comunidad, así que estamos, nada, encantados y súper felices bueno, pues de haber ganado el Best in Show en el Squidmar Open. Un sorpresón, la verdad. Un montón de piezas, de un nivelón bastante alto, porque es verdad que es como el escaparate de todo el año hasta la fecha del mundillo. Y la verdad es que muy contentos, muy sorprendidos y nada, muy felices de poder estar aquí con vosotros para celebrarlo, también para enseñaros un poco la pieza de la que estoy hablando, si no lo sabéis. Y bueno, y de compartir esta mañana un ratito de pintura con todos vosotros y vosotras. Okay, I'm assuming that everything is okay. So let me just in case to inform you is about the language. Okay, my English is very weird. Sorry for that. I'll try to do my best. If you prefer to the explanations in English, I'll do that, and I want to make this channel as global as I can. So if the most of the people in the room is prefers in English, I'll do the live streaming in English, in my weird English. I must to warn you, okay? So if anyone is prefers in Spanish, of course, I'll do that in Spanish like other times. And just to know, for your info as well, all the videos will be uploaded later in order that you can see them. If you can be right now with us, so you can review later the videos, so no worries if you can't be here. But also to know to you that every video is subtitled in many languages, so don't hesitate to activate the subtitles and look for the ones who which suit you better. Okay, so as I said before, thank you so much for all your good wishes and your words, nice words about the results on the Squidmar Open. This piece from Alex Carratala and me won the Best in Soul, and we are so happy to bring you today the miniature to celebrate this news. Okay, so of course we are so happy for the results. It's incredible because the level was so high, too many entries, and at the end it's something unexpected for us. Okay, what do you think? It's way big, the piece, I think. It's not the usual scale for a miniature, so this is also hard part in the process of this this miniature, the size. And okay, this is something that is also can be removed in order to check, not also to see the backdrop alone, but also to check the back view of the miniature. So this is something that I like to implement in this piece. But I think that I prefer this way. I don't know, what do you think? Okay. I love to have this window to all of you in order to comment these kind of things, to show you these miniatures that, okay, maybe you will see it in contest, but I think that if you can attend to those contests, is nice to see the miniature, for example, in this channel, lively. And okay, I hope you enjoy it. Just if you have any questions or whatever you want, just ask me in the comments while the live streaming is running, or even if that you are seeing the live streaming after the day of today. Okay. Gracias. Need more siesta. Ya. Sí, es una cosa que me gusta mucho, las sombras proyectadas, y también es la atmósfera es una cosa en la que me centro, es uno de mis puntos centrales cuando afronto una pintura, una miniatura, ¿vale? Ya lo veréis, porque hoy quiero traeros también algo parecido, en escala mucho más reducida, porque en los live streaming es verdad que el tiempo es limitado y al final proyectos muy grandes no tienen cabida aquí, ¿vale? Pero hoy quería traeros una pieza sobre la que, bueno, probar y jugar, ¿vale? Para que también veáis vosotros y vosotras este tipo de ambientaciones y la potencia que puede tener un backdrop sobre vuestras piezas, ¿vale? Okay, so let's start with the topic of today. So maybe you will see it in the preview that I show in the Instagram, that I want to try some goods that my friends of Mindworks has sent to me recently. So I want to show you what I'm talking about, and this box of paint sets are the ones which I need to try, okay? I need. So this is why I decide in the spot, okay, to run the live streaming today, and this is why I haven't scheduled and make any advertising before. But at the end, I want to try. I have a lot of curiosity about this brand, this kind of paints. And I, at the end, have the chance to try it today with all of you. Okay, so if you are also as curious as me, don't leave the room, because I will be painting this miniature also from Mindwork. Okay, this is a very nice piece. I think is sculpted also by Alex Carratala as well. So it's smaller than the Cadian stand miniature, okay? So it's perfect for the live streaming and for maybe a new series, okay? If you like it, I could continue the series with this miniature, okay? So this is also another element that I want to add in this time for the miniature is a backdrop. As you said before in the Cadian stands piece, I love to add this kind of things to my miniatures in order to create and make a stronger ambiances. Okay, so this is the way I do to add the backdrop. This is a piece of plastic card. This is a plastic sheet, which I have trimmed to the desired size. Okay, and this is why I use a piece of plastic like that, because in this way I can choose my desired sizes. Okay, of course the width is determined by the plinth, but the height is the one I like to choose, because this is very different than, for example, this. Don't do that, okay, when you plan to add a backdrop on your miniatures, because, okay, this is covering also the whole miniature, okay, but you are not leaving any space to draw something behind the miniature, okay? So I love to leave some air behind and above the miniatures. I think is something that is called in photography, okay? The photographers calls these kind of things leave some air, I think. And this is the same that leaving some space in the back view of the subjects. Okay, so this is why I like to trim my personalized or better say custom backdrops. Okay, so this is one possibility. This is another possibility. This is not a possibility. Okay, and this is the one I choose. So in this way also I can paint separately, and this is for me more comfortable. Okay, so in the live streaming today I will be painting also the miniature and the backdrop. Of course I don't have enough time to finish the piece, but stay tuned for more live streaming of this series if you like it. So let me know in the comments if this seems interesting for you, and in this way I'll know that I need to continue with this series. Okay, so let me know your thinkings, guys. This is something that is for you, and this is the very important thing for me. Okay, nice to know. Okay, so I'll open this box because probably you are not used to this kind of paints. I mean, this is I think something related with the artist paint, and in the very first thought you can say, okay, it's something for artists. This is not for me, because I like to paint miniatures even for playing or for... Okay. Hola, Ibai. ¿Qué tal? Buenos días. Aquí estamos. Bienvenido. So, even if you are a tabletop painter or a casual painter, this kind of paints could be very interesting for you. Only some differences that will be commented right now are need to take into account. Okay, so let's open this kind of boxes. And remember, you will have all the info in the Mindworks website. Okay, And stay tuned, because at the in some point of the live streaming, I'll let you know my discount code for you if you want also to try this kind of products and buy your own. Okay, so in the something to comment before trying the paints, let's see some very important characteristic of these paints. Okay, are water based acrylic, which is very important. Okay, let me through it. This is something is very important because they are non-toxic. Okay, so in terms of safe, I prefer, and I must to say, I mostly use non-toxic products. Okay, so for me, okay, I sometimes use enamels and something like that, but they are not my preferred stuff to go for it. Okay, so go for only non-toxic products, as this is my recommendation, in order to enjoy more the hobby and for more years. So this is something, I'm joking, but this is something serious, of course. I need to say that I prefer, obviously, non-toxic products, and keep in mind that these kind of paints are not toxic, water-based, so it's very, very important to know. Also, this is important because are valid for airbrush and because they are non-toxic. These kind of characteristics, all of them are in some kind linked between them. So, if I want to try or to spray, better said, with the airbrush, it's important to beat that the paints won't be toxic, because the clouds around the sprayed paint is very easily inhalated by the painter. So if the paint is toxic, it's better for you to paint with this kind of Darth Vader masks. And it's very important for the same reasons as I said before. You need to live as much as you can in order to paint as much miniatures as you can. This is something easy to understand, I think. Okay, and they are, of course, valid for airbrush. So this kind of versatility is the one that I prefer when it's come to choose my paints. Okay, and the last important thing to take into account about this kind of paint are the opacity. Of course, it depends of the pigment, and this symbol means that the paint radiant turquoise, for example, has a high opacity. For example, this other symbol means that cyanine green is semi-transparent, and of course the raw amber, in the name you can see transparent, raw amber, you can see this symbol, which obviously means that this paint is transparent. So take into account, because when you need to cover with your paint, try to avoid these transparent colors. This means that these kind of colors are useless. Of course not. In fact, they are very useful colors in order to create glazes, nuances, to improve your gradients in the painting. So keep in mind, because sometimes when you are trying to make your own gradients and you are struggling with these techniques like glazing or layering, this is why your paints are very, very high coverage, has a lot of coverage, and this is the opposite of the transparency. And the transparent paints are more suited to make these smooth gradients, okay, by the technique of the layering or the glazes. I'll show you this kind of technique in the live streaming, and I'll be preparing some stuff in the future for the channel about this kind of, I think, advanced techniques. But I think if these techniques are explained in an easy way, you could master perfectly, and you can take this advantage for your arsenal, your painting arsenal, okay, and you will enjoy the hobby for sure, way a lot of, okay. Hola Antonio, ya lo sé que igual no lo esperabas, pero bueno, es un poco la sorpresa que os quería dar este fin de semana, ¿de acuerdo? Bueno, pues lo que os comentaba, no os preocupéis, lo podéis ver luego tranquilamente. Y nada, no os olvidéis que voy a estar pintando con estas pinturas efectivamente de Mindwork, que bueno, tengo mucha curiosidad por probar, y que bueno, a lo largo del directo también os diré el código de descuento que podéis aplicar para si queréis también probar estos productos y, hombre, ahorraros un poquito cuando lo compréis en la web de Mindwork, ¿ok? So, let's continue. So this is the paints. Whoa! This is the first color I have taken from the box. It's strange because it's magenta. Okay, no surprise for me. I love magenta. This is a radiant magenta, for example. It's very beautiful, this color. Okay, and you can see that the paint right now seems very luminous. I think this is the word. Okay, it's obviously that it's a radiant magenta, or better said, a medium magenta, light magenta, which is very useful. I use a lot this color in my lights of my color schemes. Okay, so I will put some of this color. This, by the way, is opaque. Okay, I will put a little bit of this color and take a look about the texture. This is another thing that I want to show you. I will close the bottle, and I must to say that the format of the paints are very nice, very comfortable, and okay, for applying the paint is very easy and quick. You can see that only opening the pot is very quick and dropping the paint is very easy. Okay, so first thing to know about this kind of paints is that the texture is heavy body. Okay, and what it means that the paint needs to be diluted a little bit more than regular paints. Okay, probably you will see that the rest of the brands of the acrylics for miniatures are more liquid. One brand's more than other, and okay, simple. Let me show you my regular brand, which is from Citadel, and this color, for example, is similar to the one I have showing from Mindwork. But I want to show you the difference in the density. Okay, you can see, I hope, in the screen that the Citadel paints needs a little bit of water only in order to have this dilution. This is, I think, almost a good dilution for base coating and most of the works needed for painting in miniatures. Okay, and this kind of heavy body paint needs more water. This is the only thing that you need to take into account. But with the correct amount of paint, you can reach to the same dilutions than with the regular acrylics, okay? But I find that the heavy body have good characteristics, in order that if you want the paint more thicker, you have the chance to have the paint in this state, okay? So why you need this kind of dilution, okay? Almost not straight from the heavy body bottle, but almost with a little bit of water, because this paint in diluted only a bit will be very lightning, will be very strong, a strong power of lining to reflect the light, okay, and more coverage. I love to make this. It's not an impasto, okay? Do you know about the impasto technique? Is something that is leaving very thick drops of paint in the canvas, okay? But in miniatures, I think is something similar, but very subtle, okay? So I mean, for the highlights, the final highlight, for example, in a non-metallic metal, you can think about. I love to make this final highlight with this kind of paint, the heavy body paints. I'm used to use also in my highlights this paint from Liquitex, is the titanium white, and okay, this is very light lining power, okay. And it has a lot of coverage, same characteristics as we can see in the Mindwork painting sets that I'm presenting to you. So okay, the rest of the paints are pretty the same, and other colors. You can see the variety of the colors is very nice. Of course, this is the Brom palette, okay? You know Brom. And okay, you have some instructions here that you can check by your own. Okay, these kind of characteristic colors of the palette from Brom are the ones who are inside this box. So I will keep these colors here, and pretty the same with this other box from Patrick Jones, okay? See that these kind of colors comes with the real brushstroke of this color, which is very useful to see the transparency of the pigment. You can see that the burnt amber covers a lot, while the purulent violet covers only a little. You can see that is confirming these characteristics, okay? The ultramarine blue is very transparent, so this is a problem. Not at all, if you keep in mind these characteristics. The leaf green is opaque, okay? Let's check the rest of the colors, okay? Alizarin crimson, okay? This is a very useful color for carnations, for skin tones, and you know. Manganese blue, very beautiful, very used from Patrick Jones in his illustrations. Indian yellow, this is a very useful color for painting almost everything, and of course, cadmium orange, which is the strongest orange that you can find. But obviously, you need to know that this kind of light colors strong in saturation but light at the end. Needs to be applied over white surfaces. Okay, so those are the bottles that I will be using for painting this beauty. Okay, and of course I will be painting the backdrop almost at the same time, because when I paint this kind of miniatures, I like to take into account the ambience, okay? And the backdrop is almost the same that the ambience. This is the thing that put the character inside the ambience. So you will see how the colors of the backdrop will be added in the character, and vice versa. The colors of the character will be in the backdrop as well. Okay, let me check the comments. Ya. Estás totalmente correcto, Ibai. Ibai is telling that transparent colors are suited for filtering with eyebrows, for example, and opaque colors are suited for building and sketch the volumetry. So this is exactly what are they made for. Un abrazo, Ibai. Un abrazo. Okay, let's continue. I don't know sadly what I want for this miniature, so I will be playing around and improvising. Okay, probably I love this color scheme from Patrick Jones, which is something greenish in the light and something more warm in the middle tones and shadows. Okay, I love these reds, and I will be playing around with these colors. Okay, so let's try. First of all, this paint with the eyebrows. Okay, why I'm starting with eyebrows? Not to cover the surface as I was applying a base coat. I want to only paint over the white priming coat, and I want to start to see some color on the miniature and in the backdrop. This is why I'm starting with the eyebrows to only tint a little bit the wall surfaces. Okay, so I will be putting the glasses and let's start. Okay, at this point, sounds interesting to you, these kind of things which I'm commenting. This kind of paints, which are in this format, are very, very similar to the artist ranch and brands, which are out there. Okay, so this is a common format for quality paints. Okay, don't think that this kind of paints are not suited for painting miniatures. It's more the opposite thinking. And of course, these kind of paints are very suited to be mixed with other brands. Okay, so don't hesitate to paint with these paints and your usual brand, of course. Okay, for airbrushing, I'm always using a little bit of thinner. Of course, a very my best friend forever in terms of eyebrushes. This is an Iwata HPBH Highline, okay, which is with me almost for, I think, maybe 15 years or something like that. And okay, I think this is one of the best tools that you can have in your painting arsenal for painting miniatures. Okay, very precise and is very, very very top tier airbrushes in the market. Okay. Now I will put some colors on my palette, and from the palette I will be adding to the airbrush, and taking into account my color scheme, I will be using, of course, yellow oxide. This color will be very present in my lights. I will be using, okay, semi-transparent Chalocyanine green. Wow, so saturated, you can see it. I'm applying some hits in order to retract the paint from the top of the bottle. Okay, so I can close again safely. Of course, I'll try the olive green because okay, at the end I don't know if I want to use this color, but it's better to put in the palette that rather to need to take later. Indian yellow, of course, and this is opaque color. I want to compare with the previous yellow oxide. This is more light color, but is opaque as well. Of course, alizarin crimson, this is my red color. Nice. Purulent violet. Okay. Which more I will need? For sure, some burnt amber. Okay, perfect. Or between transparent raw amber and burnt amber, which one you will use? They are similar colors. Okay, we could check in the bottle. The burnt amber, okay, the difference with the raw amber is that it's more saturated, okay, more brownish, let's say, and of course is semi-transparent. The raw amber is darker, desaturated, and transparent. So what I will be using, okay, depends depends of the needs. Okay, I love to use some brown color to darkening my deepest shadows, so I will be putting, okay, I will put both of them, and in this way I could try both of them, because at the end I'm trying the paints with you today, so let's play around. Okay, more, of course, cadmium magenta. If you want to ask something, don't hesitate to ask me. Okay, I'm only talking, and I like to answer your questions. Okay. Okay, I'm putting random colors. This is not the way I usually build my palette. Also, I don't put the colors in an organized way. This is not my way. But just only for today, I want to try as many colors of these beauties as I can. Okay, I think that the only thing I need is some white. Because in all the palettes needs to be white. White color from whatever the brand you like. I will be using, for example, this one. And other purposes, I love to use this one, but not in the sketching part right now. I will put the white over here. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Let's try these paints with the thinner. This is thinner self. This is a secret thinner that I mixed for my paints. And okay, I of course it's not secret. It's a regular thinner mixed with alcohol, glass cleaner, I think it's called, and water. Okay, so I will talk about these kind of thinners because I'm trying right now them, and not also for saving money, but also for know if it's good for my workflow. Okay, and because I was used to use other thinners, and at the end I noticed that the paint is struggling with these thinners. I need to check the composition, the chemistry, the magic chemistry in between the thinners and these paints. And okay, this is something that you need to check with all your brands, okay, if you want to airbrush them. Okay, so I'll paint first with the light colors. I will be adding the yellow oxide to the airbrush, okay, and I'm noticing that the paint is okay, is nice. If some problems happen, you could see the paint starting to appear like dust in the airbrush, okay, and this is not the case. So I think my airbrush thinner is working with those paints. So okay, nice to know. And I'll start to add some color in this way. Okay, the same on the miniature, and with this color I will be painting on the lights. Maybe you are asking for yourself, okay, I don't have an airbrush, I can't make this a step. Is needed? No, it's not needed. For me, it's something that I like to do, but it's not mandatory for painting miniatures. I will try. I will talk more deeply about airbrushing in the channel, because I think airbrushing is something very, very useful, and it's not as complex as you think. So please lose your fears and okay, step by step, little by little. The airbrush is better to be worked in thin layers rather than trying to cover in one layer. Okay. Two layers, you can see the color is right now very evident, and I think I want more coverage, even more. So for this task I love to use this is the real magic for airbrush, because this white is very, very luminous. Okay. Okay, Else Green, don't be scared. about airbrushing. I know that something that is new or very tricky in the beginning could be something that be avoided for the people who paint miniatures. But it depends that what are you expecting from the airbrush. Okay, if you are expecting that the airbrush will paint everything and okay, the magic will happen by itself, is a wrong thinking. Okay, you first of all you need to paint and learn the techniques with the brush, because with the brush is the main tool for miniature painting. But with the airbrush you can achieve some finishes that with the brush are very hard to do. Okay, the airbrush is like the smoother of the transitions. Okay, you can use the airbrush to smoother your gradients. Okay, you can use the airbrush for applying thin filters of colors. Okay, you don't need to make crazy layers of crazy glazing techniques with the brush. The only thing that you need is to apply a little touch of color with the brush, with the airbrush. So, sorry, and of course, I'll show you in this live streaming series the different uses of the airbrush, because I think this is something that is could be one of the best friends of the miniature painter. So let's go. Okay, I have some color, but I'll need to have a lot of coverage. Okay, so this white is an ink. Okay, because this brand is about inks, but is very opaque. This is a total cover ink, so this is not no satin finish. This is very opaque and has a lot of luminosity. Adding a little bit, I will obtain a lot of coverage. And let's see how this kind of paints interact between them. Okay. Okay. You can see the difference in the coverage, and it's important to not insist too much in the same spot with the airbrush, because you can easily create the spider legs, I think it's called, or something like that. And I'm gonna start to draw some clouds. Okay, in the backdrop. This is a very quick sketch. Okay, I'll need to apply a little bit on the miniature also. In this way, you start to see how the priming coat is starting to disappear, and this is the main objective. I don't need to be too much precise in this step. Okay, so now I will apply other color. This is the result. At this point, nothing fancy, I'm afraid, but no worries. I'm building the gradients step by step. Okay, now I will be using a green color. This time I will be using this green. Let me look for the olive green. And let's check. I don't have cleaned the previous color on the airbrush, so I'm mixing them together a little bit, okay? Let me use a little bit of this other green, the yellow tannin green, in order to saturate a little bit the color. See how the color is taking some saturation. And let's try it. This is in fact the color of the main light, something greenish, as we can see in the concepts of Patrick Jones. So the previous step was like a base coat for this one. Remember to don't paint too much in the same area to avoid the spider legs. Do you know what I'm meaning with the spider legs? Is in English called in this way? Anyone in the room can tell me this? What are spider legs? As I understand this. If I insist too much, start to appear these spider legs, okay? Okay. Nice. Now the same with the miniature, because I want the same ambience in the backdrop and in the miniature. At this point, I don't care about the local color of each material or the different parts in the miniature, okay? I'm only applying some nuances, deciding some values, and blocking the main areas of light and shadow. And see how I'm doing with the eyebrow. It's very easy. You don't need to have very precise. Take into account that I'm always using the volumetry of the sculpture. If I put the miniature in this direction and I spray with this direction, okay, sorry, if I spray in this direction, okay, I will only paint in the areas of shadow. See in the camera, please. In the camera, you are only seeing the shadows. So the eyebrows is pretty the same. With the eyebrows in this direction, I will be only painting in the shadows, okay? Okay, I run out of paint. So it's not a problem. I'll need to make a little bit more of this mix. Remember, a little bit of thinner Not too much, not too much. I have used only a third part of the pot, and now some paint, a little bit of green. This is the opaque green, which will be the one who covers the surface the most. And now I will be using the semi-transparent green in order to increase the saturation of the green, but not the coverage, okay? Are you seeing how you can use these colors together? You need to take into account the different characteristic of the different colors, okay? So adding this green, cyanine green, I will be increasing the saturation because it's a saturated green, but not the opacity. This is why I'm using the other green. It's like the alchemy of the color, okay? This is something very easy. If you think about it, it's very, very simple and logic. So don't be afraid to create your own mixes. But of course, you need to know what are you doing. You need the knowledge. But this is why I'm explaining these kind of things to you. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, I'm using the already mixed green, and I don't worry about if it is the same, exactly the same green. Okay, okay, it's more or less the same, but in this way I'm creating nuances, change in the tones. Okay, and see how quickly I build these first layers of colors. Okay, I will always check the results with the backdrop, okay, and the miniature, and in this way you can check if everything goes fine or not. I keeping these areas of the miniature more light to simulate the point of light, the source of light coming from here in this direction, okay? I think it is working, and I love how the clouds are starting to appear in this area. So I'll continue drawing a little bit of cloud in these areas. And this is why this airbrush is something very, very useful, because the precision of the airbrush, okay? You can see how I can create these subtle clouds, these subtle forms. See? Or I can create these kind of things very, very easily. Of course, this is not the final sketch for this part, this area. Okay, needs to be developed, but it's very helpful to see this kind of details in the very beginning of the process. Okay, it helps a lot to define the mood and the ambience on the scene. And of course, it's not easy but it is not impossible to make. If you have an airbrush, it's only a matter of practice. To draw with the airbrush is all about to being very confident to paint with the airbrush very close to the surface in order to this. You can imagine that the airbrush is like a it's like an spray, and in this part the form of the cone of the paint is like a cone, okay, is this shape. So if you are putting the airbrush far away, the cone will be very wide, so you will cover the full surface very quickly, okay. This is for covering the wide areas, okay. But if you are closing the distance, okay, you will see it that the cone will be very narrow, and this is the way that you can draw thin lines like this, okay. And of course you can draw clouds and these kind of things. Something that you need to keep in mind also is another trick that I want to comment to you, is behind the most important part of the most important part of the miniature, of course, is this area, the face, okay. So this part is suited to be the one who attracts more the light and the highlights on the miniature. So because also it's metallic, but you can imagine that the woman is not wearing any mask, okay. So I will be applying the highest highlights on the miniature in the face for sure, to attract your attention there, okay. So in this case, because she's wearing a metal mask, I will be painting metal, okay. With is bigger reason to think about that this area of the miniature will be the lightest part of the piece. So keeping this in mind, I'll need to think about that behind that, this area of the backdrop needs to be very dark in order to increase even more the contrasts on the face, okay. So I can put the backdrop in this position, and now I will be painting a mark on this part in order to now I can quit the miniature and paint more comfortably this area in a very dark color, okay, in this way. Something like that. Remember that I don't need nothing fancy at this part of the process. This is only a quick sketch, starting a sketch. And of course, in this area, also I need to apply a dark color. Okay. See how I built I think a very nice starting point for this piece. You can see also that I draw some lines which are parallel to the lines of the mask. Okay, so this is something intentional to reinforce the miniature, and this is why the backdrops are something that I like a lot, and I always add into my pieces because I think the power of the visual which them supplies to the visual to the pieces. Okay, is very nice and strong. Okay, this kind of clothes, okay, you are seeing right now how I do it, are the same that you can see here. For example, other colors, more colors obviously, but this is something that I made with more steps for achieving these results. But see that very easily to achieve this. Okay, so there's any doubt at this point? Also, you have noticed that this kind of paints works amazingly with the handmade thinner, the thinner self. So I'm happy to know that. Okay. Now, okay, let's quit this part of the paint. So I will use a dropper to quit the paint from the airbrush. Okay, in this way I think it's cleaner than other ways. And of course, when I have almost nothing in the airbrush, I could use this kind of tools to quit the rest of the paint. Okay, now a little bit of cleaner in order to change the color. Okay, for example, this from Sminke is very nice, only a few drops, and I'm using a very old brush, a wasted or brush, a synthetic one, to mix the paint inside the airbrush, to clean the airbrush, and this kind of okay, very hard work for the brushes. So don't forget to use the brushes that you don't want to these destroying tasks. Okay, let's add right now some shadows, because I need to remember that this is not the shadows area. This is the middleton, the middleton of the light. Right now I will be adding some quick shadows, and before starting to apply the brush, and for that I will be, by the way, which color you will be using for placing some shadows right now? Let me show you a little bit the piece. What do you think? Come on. I know that maybe it's too early, but for sure you can think about any good scheme for this. Any suggestions? Okay, let's agree. No worries, because Patrick Jones has the answer. Okay, see, this is the color scheme that I'm following, more or less. Okay, and you can see in this kind of works all the clues that you need. Okay. Okay. Dan says that okay, my gut says blue. Okay, purple and magenta, need more siesta. Need more siesta is someone that knows me very well from other live streamings and know that I will be using magenta almost for sure. Okay, but but okay, it's true. Everything that you said is okay. Blue is okay to darken the greens, because you will still be in the same color range. Okay, it's very common to darken in the blue, sorry, the green with adding blue. In fact, the blue is a color which is suited to darken a lot of colors, okay? But if you are darkening the green with blue, you are still in the same color range. You are still in the cold range of the chromatic circle, okay? So let's see. Okay, and Need More Siesta said to us that, okay, magenta, purple, okay, I prefer this way of thinking because you are turning a little bit to the other side of the color wheel, okay? You are applying some warmth on these shadows, okay? And let's see what Patrick Jones did with this color scheme of his own, and see that the skin is painted in greens, in cold greens, because the light is cold, or something is not blue but is cold. And in the shadows start to appear some warm tones. This is very obviously in this side, okay, which you can see some oranges, reds, this kind of warmer greens, okay? By the way, I'm looking to this box, which is gorgeous, by the way. But of course, let me show you also other places where you can check these kind of things. I leave the link in the description of the video so you can check easily. And if you go to, let me show you. Okay, this is the Mindworks website, and you could find here a lot of interesting things. Of course, Trench Crusade, if you like the game, but also some very nice large scale miniatures from Trench Crusade. Okay, let me show you. Those are the war bands, and those are the display figures, which is, I think, is incredible. Okay, definitely I will be painting one of them. Okay, so nice. And of course, you will have a lot of series. This is, I think, one of the newest series from the Corvus Belli game, Infinity. And see how impressive is this miniature, which comes with different versions, okay? And other things that you can find is the art prints of very great artists, and something very important to have in your walls, I think. Also, you can use these images as references, okay? So you can check them to paint these miniatures. And you can see here the things that we were talking about, okay? The green light, let me use the sum, okay? You can see the green light and the warm shadows here. At the end, this is something that is about something about the contrast of temperature in the color, which is something, okay, could sound to some of you a little bit weird or saying color temperature, what is that? Okay, there are warm colors and cold colors, okay? Depends on the which side of the color wheel are occupying this color. So if you think about the temperature of the colors instead of the value, you can achieve contrast between light and shadows, okay? So imagine you are applying warm light, as we are doing right now. You can apply cold shadows in opposite sides, okay, and you will contrast even more the volumes, and vice versa. You can use cold light and warm shadows, which is the trick that is Patrick Jones doing in his illustration, and is the one that I will be using also in this figure. Okay, I said before warm light. No, it's in fact a cold light, and with the brush I will be doing it colder even. Okay, so let's talk more paint. Any doubts about that? I think that could sound a little bit complex at the very beginning. You will see it right now, because the contrast which is achieved with making the cold lights as I do right now and the warm shadows as I will be doing right now, you will see how richness I can achieve in the miniature. Okay, so I will be using of course I'm in the green scheme. Okay, so of course I will need a little bit of green, but now I will be darkening this green with maybe a little bit of red. For example, we'll create an desaturate green. Okay, it's some kind of brown color. I don't know if you can see it in the screen. Maybe too small. Let me zoom it a little bit. Okay, better, I think. But I prefer to warmer the greens, to use the I will be using the orange. Okay, the cadmium orange from the Mindworks, and see how I am achieving some kind of brown. Okay, I am adding this one. Is very light, this orange. Okay, so if I want a darker color, I need to add a darker orange, or maybe a little touch of red or magenta. Why not? This kind of violet is some kind of magenta. Okay, I'll check it. It's some kind of orange, of brown. You can see it. And maybe someone of you are asking for yourselves, okay, why do you don't have used directly a brown? Okay, because this brown is the brown that I built or mix with my current colors on the palette. So this brown will fit better in my color scheme. So this is obviously, this brown is almost like a brother of the other greens and yellows which I applied before in the backdrop and in the miniature. But if I take another brown directly from the pot, okay, for example, this more Murphan brown, okay, I don't know which quantity of each color have in the mix. So of course could work, yeah, but this brown is now a brother of my palette, so this will work better. Okay, so let's check it. Okay, so with this color I won't paint in these areas, because these areas are reserved for the light, and I need to remember that this color is more suited for shadows and maybe some middle tones. Okay, remember that I want this area very dark. Okay, this is why I'm painting with the brown in this area. And see how I painting far away from the backdrop, not too much, okay, but at this distance more or less, because I want to have a wider cone for painting. I don't want to create teeny lines. This is why I'm painting a little bit far away. Let it dry. And continue with the cloud pattern on these areas. Okay. And I must to say that these paints were very nice with the airbrush. So this is important because when I need to apply the paint right now with the brush, I already know which mixes are working, because I will use the same exact colors for painting with the brush. Okay, see the difference right now with more shadow. Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? Buenos días, Laidor. Pues nada, gracias a vosotros por estar ahí, ya ves tú. Me alegro mucho que os resulte interesante, de verdad. Sobre todo, como lo decía vuestra compañera, el tema de, bueno, pues ya no es enseñaros, sino quitaros miedos. Creo que con el aerógrafo hay mucho trabajo que hacer. Así que bueno, por eso también es verdad que quería enseñaros este tipo de procesos, ¿vale? Okay, so let's go to make something similar in the miniature. Something like this. I'm painting in the shadows, as you can see. Where are the shadows? In the darkest areas of the priming coat, or where you can see that there's no yellow, light yellow on the surface. And see how I'm painting, sorry, with the eyebrush, making transparent layers, more or less transparent, little by little, step by step. I'm building the color from light to dark. Have you ever painted with watercolors? Any one of you? Just curiosity, because the painting process with the airbrush follows some same thinking about. Share some techniques like the one I'm using right now, which is painting from light to dark. Won't expect a lot of coverage with the eyebrows if you don't want to abstract the eyebrows. So, by the way, I run out of paint, but the eyebrows is still working. It's not abstracted, so it's very, very, very nice. I like these colors for airbrushing, and you can see that the finish is flat, okay, but it's a very, very nice flat for the eye. Okay, see the results right now. By the way, I'm not using a very, very close-up camera, because when I'm airbrushing, I love to show you the distance of the airbrush to the surface and the angle. Okay, I could increase the zoom, but you will lose the airbrush on the screen. So I think is worst in order to understand the process. No worries, because for painting with the brush, I will be making some zooms. Okay, I will be using a little bit of clearer very quickly. In order to, okay, let's add the magic, or better say the color punch. Okay, so this is something that is up to you, because there's no explanation to add suddenly a punch of other coloring in a color scheme. Okay, but I love the way it looks. I'm always using this kind of effects since my early days painting the Cool Mini or Not projects, like Zombicide, or I think maybe 10 years ago or something like that. There I'll start to use the relay techniques, which is something similar to like an OSL, but is different in terms of that the OSL is something that affects to the wall area, and the OSL and the rim light is something that is drawn in a very specific area. Okay, I don't know if you heard about these things, because also are not basic techniques, but okay, are not difficult at all. Okay, I'm not sure if you see something, some rim lights, but let me show you a piece where I draw a very characteristic rim light and see how it looks. Okay. This is the piece that I want to show you. And okay, this is the results in the main view, but you can see here that is something reflecting on the miniature, and the appearance, I think, is very, very powerful in order to separate the character from the backdrop. This is called a rim light, trim light, separate line. That these have a lot of names. Okay, so this is useful for this reason, because separate the character from the backdrop. Here in this side is not separated, and you can see that the character is very near in color than the backdrop. It's true that the trick is to make it this kind of magic or the effect in only a few parts, not in the whole miniature, because this is the moment when everything looks unreal. Okay, and this is the nature of the rim light, the trim light, the separate line, whatever you want to call it. This is a line, a diffuse line, but in the main view you can see the effect. It's like the non-metallic metal, which are working in a very specific view, but when you turn around the miniature you can see that the highlight is not moving. This is not the case, because these kind of metals are painted with the real metal technique, the true metal technique. Okay, but this is the rim light that I was talking about. Only to clarify, and the difference with the OSL is that the OSL will be affecting to the wall area with a red light, but okay, this will not work in this case, because okay, too much red on the backdrop. If I will be using too much red on the right side of the miniature, everything will be red, so will be very different the look of the miniature at the end of the day. Okay, so why am I showing you this? Because I will be doing something similar here. I warn you that is something that I like to do, and okay, I will be doing that. For this miniature, I will be using maybe some kind, I think red will work, but I prefer to use some kind of magenta or something like that. I think the Pyreline violet will be nice, and I will be modifying this color with a little bit of Pyreline red. I will be putting, I don't know if this color is better to modify, or maybe the alizarin crimson, which I added before. Let me look for the bottle. Okay, alizarin crimson could be nice, and Pyreline red could be nice. I don't know. Let's try it. Let's mix Pyreline violet with any of them. If I was, if I had some pure magenta, maybe I will be using the pure magenta. And I must to say that there's another pack or paint set, which is let me look for that, which basic colors, okay. And I think that maybe in this pack is the magenta one. Let me look for. Oh. Okay. Here in the web page of Mindwork, you can see the paint tab, and okay, this is the primary sets, and as you can see, the primary sets have yellow, blue, and of course magenta. Okay, so I will be using for sure this color rather than anything reddish for this color scheme, but okay, I don't have it, but I will take it for sure. Okay, I can, before I forget it, if you want to try them by yourself, I leave in the description of the video the link for the website, and you can use my discount code in your purchases to earn some money. Okay, so I will be writing to you the discount code for you to use. Let me write them in the comments. Okay, all with capital letters. Hola, ¿qué tal, José? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Un saludo, bienvenido desde Granada, qué bien, qué bien. Bienvenido. Pues nada, os he dejado ahí el descuento en el chat para que, bueno, pues podáis probar también estas pinturas por vosotros mismos y también chequear un poco todas las miniaturas que tiene Mindwork en sus distintas líneas, que ya las hemos comentado antes un poquito, ¿vale? Entonces, no olvidéis chequear los comentarios. Bueno, si no salen los comentarios luego cuando deje subido el vídeo, simplemente que sepáis, el código es Rubén Martínez AR, ¿vale? Rubén Martínez AR, todo seguido y con mayúsculas, ya está, 15% de descuento. Bueno, if the code don't appear in the comments after the live streaming, you are watching the live streaming late. No worries. Just to know that the discount code for the Mindwork web is Ruben Martinez R, all with capital letters and writing together. Okay. Okay, so I will making the color punch, and this is something that is about be my favorite part. Not the final color punch, but I will be suggesting this color punch. Okay, so I will be using, let me show you the palette. As I said before, the Pyrrolene Violet, Pyrrolene, okay, this one, Pyrrolene Violet, which is semi-transparent. Don't forget to think about that. So, if I want to cover, I'll need to add right now some opaque color. So I will keep in mind that. For example, Pyrrole Red is opaque, but Alizarin Crimson is semi-transparent. So, here I have a doubt. So what I need to do? Some suggestions. Okay, I think it's a hard question because I want to cover and if I want to cover, it's not needed to use two semi-transparent colors. So the question I think is solved using the Pyrrolene red. Let's try, okay, and this is why add some opaque. Muy bien, José, correcto. Está claro que para cubrir necesito más opacidad, obvio. Fijaros que lo que parecía tan difícil, pues empieza a parecer sencillo, simplemente teniendo un poco en cuenta estas cosas. También pensad que las pinturas, yo prefiero que me pongan si son opacas o no, o semitransparentes, porque de lo contrario, por ejemplo, en gamas como por ejemplo Citadel, son más o menos todas cubrientes, ¿vale? Te comportan todas muy parecidas, pero aún así tienes que saber si hay alguna que cubre un poco menos de lo normal, ¿vale? Entonces es importante. Si te lo ponen ya la pintura, pues tanto mejor. Ok, I have mixed the two colors and I get this. So I will be applying on the backdrop and see how the color is starting to appear. Something subtle, but it is the way that I want. Don't take into account this area because this is the one which is glued onto the plane. So the backdrop starts here. I'm preparing this area of the backdrop in order to suggest the lining which I will be drawing in this wall side of the character, but not like an OSL. I will be drawing real light, and this is why I was talking about rim lights. The best thing to do before drawing the rim light is to apply a color near to the final color of the rim light. This is the, let's call it the preparation color for the rim light. I will be painting with this color here. Someone can tell me some answers. Just bet your option. I'm applying a second layer in this area, okay? In the left side, in the right side area, sorry. And also in the left side area of the mask. See how the color start to push all the volumes? Nice. Okay, so I'm asking about to apply this color on these areas which are to the left of the miniature. Here are some shadows areas also, and I'm applying this in the shadows areas, but these shadows are suited for this. Thank you, Serim. Okay, the answer is I'm applying the light coming in the right side of the scene. So I will keep this color in this area. Sorry, I'm painting outside of the camera. Sorry. I was painting a little bit of this color in this area, okay? So I will keep this reddish hues in this area, not in the rest of the parts. Okay. So my question was, I need to paint in this part, for example? No. I need to paint with this red in this part? No, is the answer. Okay. I need to paint here? No. I need to paint here? This is a little bit more tricky, but you don't need it because I'm painting a rim light. Do you remember the previous miniature which I have shown you? The Tyrant from Hate? Okay, so I will be painting here and a straight line, making the effect of the rim light. Okay, so let's check everything together and you will see it, the result. Of course, you can see more red in this area and less red here. At the end of the process, the red will be more evident on the miniature than in the backdrop, of course. Will be switched, the intensities and the values, okay? But I need to rework on these areas. Okay, how I can rework here? Using the brush right now. So I will be mixing white because I need white, but let me use the kings of the whites. Okay, this white from Liquitex. This is also heavy body, like the paints from Mindworks, which I have shown you today. Okay, and even the packaging, the presentation is similar. I like it. So with this white, I will be, remember what I said at the beginning of the live streaming? Okay, I will dilute way more these heavy body paints rather than the regular acrylic paints, for example from Citadel, from Vallejo, etc. You need to dilute a little bit more the heavy body paints. And now I will be adding only a little drop of red, for example of the Pyroline Violet. I mean the color I have used in the eyebrows, okay, to achieve this color. See how I get this okay, pinkish hue, very light, very light, and I will be diluting a little bit. So with this color I will be drawing where I need to put the rim light, for example here. I need to draw the line in the exact point of the miniature ends and then start the backdrop, the separation line, and only in the areas on the left right side of the character, okay, which are looking downwards. I won't paint too much in this area, okay. Now this line can be reinforced here in the hair a little bit, okay. I don't need to paint a lot of rim light, double rim light is I call that. This is strange for the viewer, so only little touches to avoid double rim lights. The main rim light is the outer one. Okay, in this way. See the effect? Nice. Of course, in the head, pretty the same. But in the hair, is not the secondary rim light, is the main rim light. And here you can draw a little bit the texture of the hair in this way. I'm putting the miniature in this exact place and I'm trying to paint in the places where the miniature fade. It's like a visual trick. This is the hardest thing, to place correctly the rim light, okay? And of course, because the mask is in some way metallic, I will be drawing the very edge the rim light. Is some kind of double rim light, but in the metallic parts, which are on the right side of the miniature, will be nice to see that. And of course, a little bit under this belt. Okay, see how the miniature starts to pop up, I think is the word. I can draw a little bit of the texture here, also in the belt. Probably this part has another name. And I'm taking care of placing the rim light in a correct position. This is the only thing that you need to take care, okay? I'm applying another layer of paint to reinforce the luminosity. Okay. Let me blend a little bit this line. To blend this kind of paints, let me show you. This is the color I have using right now. So I will be adding, as I said before, water, okay? and see how the paint is starting to get diluted. This is a very good point, but is where the heavy body paints have some strengths, because when you dilute these paints, the pigments are not flowing without control. The heavy body keeps the pigments together, and is more easily to dilute this kind of paint and later to paint with. Is something that if you try to glaze or layering, this is another technique to paint with several diluted layers over one to the other, you could see the difference respect to the other traditional paints. Okay, I think are more related to the miniature wall. Okay, so let me show you right now that with this paint diluted, of course, I load the brush too much, so I need to discharge a little bit the brush. Okay, and now I could paint and blend a little bit the results. But I'll go to add more water, because I can paint with very diluted paint in this way. And in this way you can achieve very nice gradients, even if these gradients are so hardcore than this. This is a very light color next to the other very dark color. Okay. Can you see the difference with the previous sketch and this one, which is more refined? Okay, I'm painting quite fast because I want to show you as much as I can in the live streaming. Of course, you at home, you could paint for sure slowly and to get even better results. Okay, so this is the sketch for the rim light. Okay, and it's important to clean very well the brush. Let me don't leave the brush with paint in this area, because this will ruin your brushes. Okay, now do you remember that I have here some paint? It's the exact same paint that I have applied before here. Okay, oh, this is a little dot of something white. Okay. Okay, as I said before, this is the exact paint that I have using to paint this area of the backdrop. Okay, so maybe right now I'll need to use the transparent one, but okay, I will try with the same paint. step by step, little by little, I'm tinting the previous white sketch. And now I have a sketch of the rim light. Okay, so if you need to, if you have tried to make this color directly onto a dark surface like that, it's almost impossible because there's no pigment in the real world that have this kind of luminosity, saturation, and coverage. It's better to paint the red colors, the yellow colors, the colors that you want to be light and saturated in this way, to making the pre sketching in white or almost in white. I remember that I haven't used white at all. I have used white but mixed with the color that I'm trying to obtain. Okay, so this is the rim light, and of course you can see the lines very defined, well, a little bit blurry, but I will blur even more later. But I must to remember that this is a sketch for my miniature, and this is the results after a couple of hours. You can see that the effect is working because this rim light is separating the character from the backdrop. Okay, so this is the thing that I needed to do. I haven't painted too much on the miniature, and all the volumes are, I think, are very, very clear. No one's, I think, is looking for where the details are in the miniature. I could find the face, which is the important thing, very quick and easy on the character. So this is something that I keep in mind to make it in every miniature that I paint. Focus point. Okay, so I think the miniature is nice at this point, so I could make even a little bit of light on the rim light, but I don't need to overdo these areas, and I will be applying only a little bit of light here, for example. I am applying the same exact color which I applied before to reinforce the light here, maybe here. And this is how I work to build this kind of effects. Of course, I am reinforcing the outer rim light, not the inner one, okay? This will be more subtle. And once it has dried, I could apply again a little bit of airbrush. Okay, I think it's okay right now. So I'll keep in this point. And I don't know, what do you think about the results? Just let me know if this is interesting for you. Also, I think that it's not so difficult, the things that I have shown to you. So let me know if you have, if you want to try it and your progress on this kind of thinking about the backdrop building on your miniatures. Okay, let me clean the airbrush while you are thinking your answers. Have you ever painted a backdrop before? I'm happy, Elsa Green. I'm happy with your words. For sure, needs to be tried for you at home, these kind of things. And no worries, because it's like everything in life. At the very first attempt, for sure, maybe won't be the expected results. But I think if you have never tried, you will never master it. So the best thing that you can do is to start with, and little by little, step by step. And no worries, because for the rest of the doubts and questions, I'm here. I will be with you in this new painting series on the channel. The previous one I like to dedicate to my sliding method. It's a very basic and quick fast painting method for miniatures, even for players and for maybe for people who are starting in the hobby. So if you haven't take a look, I recommend you that you could check the videos in the list of reproduction in the channel, and take a look at this kind of painting. I'm pretty sure that you will be find interesting as well. And now I will be painting this bust from Mindworks with these wonderful paints that they have sent me. And of course, today's demonstration was about painting with the airbrush, and I'm quite happy with the results. These paints are nice to be used with the airbrush, and I need to remember that I'm using my self thinner. Thinner self is, I don't know, the name you are asking about is, I don't know if you know Sepultura, the band. They have a song called in a similar way. This is the inspiration. So talking about the colors right now, they are wonderful to be used with the eyebrows. As you can see, the finish is flat, so I'm pretty sure that most of you will love it, and I'm pretty happy because the flat is not totally flat. Okay, I prefer to have some vibrancy on the colors, and when I find when colors are totally flat, it's like the color is lowering down once the acrylic is dry. So as I have noticed in these paints, the vibrancy keeps after dry, and okay, they are so nice to paint with airbrush, and I'm pretty sure that with the sensations with the brush will be quite similar. But sadly, I must to say that this needs to be kept for For the other live streaming, I hope that I don't know when, but for sure won't take too long to repeat the live streaming. And okay, I hope that you like it and find it very interesting. No worries, because you are seeing the live streaming right now. You will have the video recorded in the channel to repeat the video as many times as you want, to take something that maybe you lost in the first views. Okay, so Else Ran. Else Rim, no, it's not Rata Mahada. I love that song also, but it's Inner Self. is older than Rata Mahada, I think. Nice. So keep in mind that that's the point. I love to keep the videos on the channel for later check and review. Okay, so don't forget to check the web page of Mindworks, and remember that you have my discount code of 15% in the product that you like. So if you are using Ruben Martinez RAR, Ruben Martinez R, with capital letters all together, I will put in the description as well. You will enjoy the discount code also. So last but not least, do you have any questions before the ending? I would love to hear from you doubts and suggestions, and let me know what do you think about the live streaming of today. Must to say that the miniature itself is so nice for quick studies, quick painting, chill painting. Okay, because it's very simple, it's not so big. So if you are afraid about the larger scales, this is not so big, and I think it's very comfortable for painting and chilling. Okay, the stress from the big projects maybe. Okay, guys, was a pleasure to be with you, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions. Okay, so don't forget to like and subscribe the channel if you like this content, and if you want more, of course, because I think this is for you, but it's needed to your help to be even reader this channel that I have started recently, and I am enjoying a lot, because it's a little window that I have with you, and to talk about the things that we like the most, which is miniatures, painting, and these freaky things. So guys, was a pleasure to be here with you today, and see you soon. Okay, bye bye.